Welcome back to Plant Etc. This is a bit of a different video, but it's still, in a way, about gardening. I'm sure you've heard about the expression, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, what if it did? Yeah, what if it kind of did?
Wow.
Well, in a world of investing, it kind of does. Today I'm going to show you how your gardening supplies and shopping habits can inspire some smart choice investments. We'll explore companies like Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon, and even platforms like Etsy and Pinterest. And we'll also talk about how Peter Lynch's famous principle, invest in what you know, can turn your everyday observations into powerful financial insight. And the best part of all of this, you don't need a fortune to even start. Okay, let's dig in. Now let's start with some wisdom from Peter Lynch, one of the most successful investors of all time. One of his famous principles is invest in what you know. And it's rooted in the concept of local knowledge. Yes, I know, local knowledge, getting a little geeky here. What does that mean? Simply put, it's about using what you already know as a consumer to guide your investment decision. You notice when you're parked somewhere and the parking lot is full, right? You can see that. Or how many Amazon trucks are delivering in your streets. These are everyday clues that you can point to a strong, thriving company. You can see those kinds of things. Now, let's go back to last summer. Where did you shop for your garden supplies? Think about it. Where did you get your plants, your soil bags, compost, seeds, even some tools? What was the place for you last year that you spent the most time? In my case, I spent a lot of time at Canadian Tire. I am situated in Canada. And guess what? Canadian Tire is one of those companies that is traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange under a very simple ticker of CTC.A. Yes, this is not investment advice, of course, as you know. I'm just trying to make you think about the places that you already visit on a regular basis and that are also trading on the stock market. It could be something you want to consider. Of course, do your own research and, talk to financial advisors and all that. But now think about where you might have spent a lot of your money last year. Which gardening supply store did you visit? Home Depot? Yeah, of course you probably did. Lowe's? That's also a very popular one. Walmart? Oh yes, I know you visited Walmart. For sure you got something there for your garden. That's like almost automatic. Costco? Oh yeah, you got that big bag, right? That big, huge bag of compost? Of course you did. We all do. And of course, the boxes and the boxes and the boxes from Amazon that's been delivered at your place. And all of those companies that I've mentioned here, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Costco, and of course Amazon, they all trade on the stock market. And they're all companies that millions of people use every day. Maybe you might say, I prefer to shop locally and support my local nursery. Sure, I'm sure you do exactly that, but I also bet you that you also use lots of tools online. I'm sure you're on there looking at ideas. How many hours have you spent on Pinterest and YouTube? We all know if you are looking for inspiration and design ideas for your garden, you log on to your Pinterest. And guess what? Yes, Pinterest too is traded on the stock market under the ticker of PINS, P-I-N-S, of course. And don't forget Insta. Of course, you're scrolling on Instagram, and Instagram is part of the Meta group. And part of Meta includes Facebook and all of them. So Meta, of course, is traded too. And what are you watching me on right now? You are watching me on YouTube. And YouTube is part of the Google family and trades under the alphabet symbol, of course. And YouTube is such a great tool to find all the inspiration and all the information that you need. And it trades under the alphabet ticker for Google, Googl, where creators like me and everybody else share their gardening ideas. The other thing you might say is that you're somebody that likes to recycle and don't want to buy anything new for my garden, trying to save some of my moolah. Okay, of course, I hear you. Well, guess what? I'm sure you're probably shopping on Facebook Marketplace, which is a great place to find recycled items for your garden. That is excellent. But guess what? Facebook Marketplace is part of Meta. So again, that is traded on the stock market. Now, if you say I am more of the artisanal, I like unique things for my garden, I want things nobody else can find, and you're shopping on Etsy. Also, Etsy is traded on the stock market. I'm just trying to make you think here that a lot of the things that you buy, especially buying online, even local stores and things like that, they are traded on the stock market and could provide you with an opportunity where not only do you spend your money at those places, but you also get to maybe profit a little bit from it. Now, another place that I know we all shop at, and it's not necessarily a big store, it's Dollarama and Dollar Tree for the people in the States. I know that for me, I buy a lot of my small little items, small little spray bottles, mesh cover. I think I buy all my bamboo stakes at Dollarama, and even some bulbs like dahlias and things like that come up at Dollarama. Recently, I was reading an article in the Globe and Mail, and the CEO of Dollarama was named CEO of the Year in 2024. Both of those companies, Dollarama and Dollar Tree, trade on the stock market. So again, you see simple things and everyday things that you go and you shop at for a few dollars here and there. There you go, you could also be profiting from them. Now, the other thing to not forget is the fertilizers and the soil mix that we use. One of the companies that is definitely part of that is Miracle-Gro. Miracle-Gro, I know as a new gardener, it's something that you automatically reach and you use, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is what you're familiar with. We're all familiar with it. We've probably grown up seeing our parents use it, so it's a very well-known company. And it too trades on the stock market. Yes, it does. And it includes, because a few years ago, Miracle-Gro purchased this other company, and now it has all the ortho kind of ORTHO products, which are all the pest controls and everything to do with that is also part of Miracle-Gro. So I know if you buy one of those sprays when you're trying to get rid of some bugs, that is probably owned by Miracle-Gro. Just check the back of the bottle to see what the name says. You might be thinking, I'm just a regular person. I don't have that kind of money to be investing in anything like that. I can barely buy groceries nowadays, how expensive things are. I know nothing about the fundamentals of the stock market and how things are, moving around. I don't have that kind of cash. I don't have money to throw around and do any of those things. Well, let me tell you that there is a different way for you to invest and something you can consider. Again, I'll reiterate that this is not financial advice. Do your own research, but I'm just talking from my own personal experience here. So one of the things that you can do is to use fractional shares. Now, what are fractional shares? It's kind of an interesting concept. This process of buying fractional shares allows you to buy into a stock with whatever dollars that you have to start with. Okay, so if you can't afford to buy the whole thing, you just buy a portion of it. Now, here in Canada, we don't have as many options for the companies that can offer us this opportunity. There's something called Interactive Broker that lets you buy fractional shares. And I believe also in Canada, we have Wealth Simple that allows you to also buy fractional shares. In the US, the options are endless with Charles Schwab's, E-Trade, Robinhood, First Trade. There's so many companies in the States that allows you to do that process. But here in Canada, I think we're limited to about 2 or 3 of them. And the two that I know is Interactive Broker and Wealthsimple. I do use Interactive Broker myself, so I'm very familiar with their process. This is not a sponsored video by any means, but yes. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you a little bit more how fractional shares work. Let's take the example of Costco. I think we all shop at Costco at some point in our life. It doesn't really matter. Well, Costco, as we speak, is trading at about $980 a share. Yeah, $980 a share. That's a lot of nut butter, people. That's being purchased at Costco. Yes, that's a lot of money. Okay, we're going to have to do a little bit of math here for me to explain to you how fractional shares work. So hang in there. Don't get too confused. You can always stop and start this part again. Okay, so let's start with Costco again. So like I said, the Costco stock price is about $980 as we speak. So of course, $980 to buy one share of Costco is a lot of money. I know I don't have that kind of money. But let's say you have $50. Okay, so can you buy Costco? Well, with the fractional shares, yes, you can. You would buy then $50 of Costco shares divided by 980 gives you 0.05. So the equivalent of 5% of $180 of Costco shares. That's what you would be getting. So you would get 5% of one Costco share if that's what you did. So it's a small portion, but it allows you to get into investing and into buying stock without having to wait until you had the right amount of $980 to buy this. This is a great way for regular people to get into the stock market. Again, this is not investment advice. Talk to your financial advisor, but it is something to consider. There's a lot of high growth stocks out there that are pretty expensive that you don't have that kind of money to just go out and buy the whole thing. But you could maybe put $20, $50 in there. So why is it a great way to invest? Using fractional shares? Like I've already kind of mentioned, it allows you in a way you don't have to put too much money. But the best thing is it starts with less money for you to invest. Even if you have $20, you can start buying something in the stock market. By doing so, you are investing that money and not just wasting it. That's definitely a good reason, right? It allows you also to diversify easily because you don't need as much money to diversify your portfolio. You can put $50 into Costco. You can then put another $50 if you wanted to into Home Depot, or you could bypass retail and go for something like an AI company or something like that. But it allows you to buy a little piece of the pie, little bit by little bit. And then the other piece, which is the biggest, is it allow you to grow wealth. Of course, in this day and age where we all know that putting money in the bank doesn't allow you much interest, this is one way of doing it as regular people, as ordinary people. Like I said, there's a few companies that allows you to do this, so you will have to do your own research to see what suits your needs and what works best for you. In my case, I find that the IBKR, so Interactive Broker, is one of those things that's available in Canada that makes it quite easy for you to get started and get things set up. So something to consider as you're looking at this year's investment portfolio, or it's the time of year where we're all kind of looking at our investment going, how are they doing, even in your mutual funds and in everything else. Now, the one thing I want to make sure you realize why I think this all ties well to gardening in a way. I mentioned all these other companies where you're spending money and you're doing all that. If you find that, your entryway is looking like an Amazon receiving center, maybe you could invest in Amazon too a little bit and get some of that back. I didn't even mention all the companies that are listed there on the stock market. Of course, there's John Deere tractors. They're also listed if you're using some of those products. There's Stanley, Black& Decker. Of course, they are also listed on the stock market. There is so many, so many. Once you start looking to see what is out there and what is listed, it is impossible to not notice, that there's a company that you already have in your garage, a tool or a bag of something that you're already using, that is also invested in the stock market, or that is actually, I should say, traded in the stock market. Now, as we come to this beginning of the year, I think in both countries, in Canada and the US, we have certain deadlines that we have to meet for some of our investment for contributions. In Canada, the RRSP contribution deadlines is fast approaching, which is March 3rd, 2025, and the IRA contribution deadlines in the state, which is again a similar vehicle for investment, is April 15th, 2025. So keep all those things in mind. But as you're looking at things, like I said, think about, do I go shopping at Costco? Yeah. Do I scroll on Instagram all day long? Yeah. Are you watching YouTube videos right now? Of course you are, So think about those things to do some of your investments. One thing I want to leave you with that, it's always good to invest in what you know. And by that, I mean, it's much easier for you to see. Like I said, the simple analogy of the parking lot is very simple. You will kind of know when something's going well or not going well with a company. What you're feeling if you're buying something from Amazon, and of course it's not showing up in the deadlines, things are not going well, you'll get a sense of how well the business is going. So this is that kind of knowledge that you have that's internal to what you do every day. Now, of course, you can also invest in your perfect coffee shop, Tim Hortons. You can also invest in your other coffee shop, Starbucks, all those places that we kind of grab a coffee before we start our gardening ventures. So all of those things are also traded. Now, the other thing to think about that it's never too late to invest in good companies. Don't go thinking, all these companies are so big, they're so advanced, I've missed a boat and all this kind of stuff. It is never too late to invest in a good company. And of course, I'll say this is not investment advice, so consult the right person. So we're coming to the end of the video, and I wanted to say thank you for watching. Thank you for kind of listening to this other kind of rant that I'm doing that is very different than the usual seeds that you would be starting. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, money can grow on trees when you plant the right seeds. Thank you. Okay, bye for now. Be investing instead of happy gardening, of course. See you next time.